Welcome to the Raw Blog. It is January 16th, 1026. Getting started a little late because I wanted to do a Worthiness Wednesday episode, record that before this because of the wonderful unfolding that happened in that episode. In this episode of the Raw Blog, I want to talk about this magnificent unfolding that occurred in my personal life and offer it as instruction. If you've been watching my Raw Blog series, you know that I'm changing the tenor of this, the content or the focus of this series to offer more instruction, in addition to talking about my personal experiences with the positively focused practice. So in this video, I want to talk about the nature of contrast and how contrast, what people call negative experiences, they're not negative, but that's what people call them, how contrast is actually positive and beneficial. This is going to be a really advanced version of a conversation about contrast because I'm very advanced in this practice. So again, if you've been watching this series, you know that I've moved into a new apartment, beautiful apartment on the top floor of this building that commands these stunning views of downtown Portland. And everything about moving in here has been absolutely satisfying. Like I said, I've produced at least a couple of videos about this. And like I say to my clients, every time you experience the fulfillment of a desire, alongside that desire comes more contrast. In other words, every positive experience, every desire that comes your way and is fulfilled for you, provides to you a new launching pad for more expansion. And expansion is born of contrast, what people call negative experiences, which aren't negative. So I've lived here for almost 30 days, and it has been a fantastic experience so far. Last Saturday, I had bundled up into my bicycle gear to go run some errands out in town. Now, if you've been watching this series, you know that my bicycle is my daily driver. It's how I get around most of the time, unless where I'm wanting to go is within walking distance, and then I'll walk. It looks like I'm bumping the microphone. Sorry about that. If I'm needing to go someplace that's further, that's more inconvenient for me to ride my bike, I'll take public transportation. And if I have to go someplace that is impractical through public transportation, I'll rent a car. So I don't own a car. So my bike is a very important means of transportation. On Saturday, I took the elevator downstairs to the secured bike parking, used my fob to get into the room, and when I walked into the room, it was like walking into an alternate dimension. It literally felt like walking into an alternate dimension, because when I walked into the room where my bike should have been, it was not. And in that moment, I realized someone gained access to the secured room and stole my bike. Not only did they steal my bike, but the manner in which they stole it was pretty remarkable. So there are these things that some people call staples. You may have them in your town. It's like a U-shaped bar that's turned upside down and then bolted to the ground where people can lock their bikes. This room had several of those staples in it. But the staples were secured to the concrete floor with bolts sticking up out of the floor and nuts that screwed down onto the bolt. And this enterprising thief, came in with a set of tools apparently, and instead of cutting my lock, he just unbolted the staple from the concrete floor, removed the staple, and then took my bike. When I saw that my bike was not there, this is so interesting, it's such a mystical experience. I felt my stomach drop. I felt the emotion, the physical manifestation of the realization that my bike was stolen. But I did not have the emotional response. I did not feel negative emotion. I was more surprised than anything else. So after discovering that my bike was gone, I went into the management office and told them what happened. And it's so interesting how this unfolded. Long story short, this thief had been breaking into the building since its completion. And both the managers and the owners of the building knew this was happening, but they had not let the tenants know. Had they have let us know that this was happening, I would have moved the storing of my bike into my apartment instead of leaving it into the secured parking downstairs. So I had this conversation with management, the managers of the property, not the owners, and they suggested I write to the owners, which I did. And so it's interesting, right? So I am typically in a very high vibration about everything, even situations like this, because I know this contrast, having your bike stolen, most people would say is negative. In fact, when I've shared this story with others, everyone has either apologized or said that's terrible. And my response to that has always been, no, it's not terrible. This is wonderful because it's an opportunity for me to have a new bike. I'm kind of pre-telling the story in that response, but that's how I've responded. So I went to the managers. They told me I should write to the owners and let them know how I'm feeling. My story, which is, if they had told me that a thief was breaking in, I would have moved my bike up to my apartment. So I did that. I wrote the owners a relatively long email about my experience and my interpretation of what happened here. And long story short, in response, I also started the email by saying, hey, look, I'm expecting this outcome, this experience I'm about to describe, to result in positive outcomes for you, the owner, the management, and for me as a tenant and the tenant community. That's how I started the email. And then I just described my perspective on what happened. Again, long story short, they looked into it and decided that they were going to fully reimburse me for the cost of what this person had stolen. The bike itself was $1,300, but all told, the gear that he got, including my bike helmet and a bunch of other accessories, totaled almost $3,000. And when I received that email, this is so interesting. When I received that email, I wasn't surprised. I didn't feel victorious. I didn't feel elated. I just knew that that was the outcome that was coming, because I know that the universe loves me, you guys, and the universe is always providing me with everything I'm wanting. So then, someone who isn't in the advanced levels of this practice might ask, why did your bike get stolen then? And like I said at the beginning of this video, the reason why my bike got stolen, it's two reasons actually. Number one is because in every fulfilled desire, there's always contrast, birthing the next level of expansion. And number two, everything that happened, the reason why my bike got stolen is because everything that happens is a perfect match to what's going on inside of you. In other words, there must have been some vibrational momentum within me. There must have been some vibrational momentum within me going on that had me be a match to getting my bike stolen. Otherwise, it wouldn't have happened. And like I tell all of my clients, you can't know what's in your vibration if you aren't aware of what's in your vibration. And one of the ways we become aware of momentum that we're unaware of is in the lagging indicator we call physical reality. And so when these negative things happen, like getting your bike stolen, you have to perceive it as positive, because it's showing up. My bike getting stolen showed up so that I could further soothe whatever momentum I have inside of me that had me be a match to that physical experience. So maybe you can see that there's two good reasons why this happened. Number one, because I fulfilled an expansionary desire living in this new apartment. And it's time now to expand into the next level, which getting my bike stolen is the contrast which prompts me to do so. And the other reason my bike was stolen was because it's an opportunity to further work, as Abraham would call it, further work out the kinks in my vibration so that I'm no longer a match to those things in the future. Many of my clients are shocked when something like this happens in their experience, especially the advanced clients, because some of them think they've got it all handled and that their vibration is totally free of negative momentum. That's hardly ever the case. And so if you think that you've got it all together and you're totally free of negative momentum, and then a negative experience shows up, a negative experience that is actually positive, it's going to shock and bewilder you. And if it shocks and bewilders you, then you're going to double down on the negative momentum that you thought you had cleaned up that actually is still there, which is why you're getting the manifestation. Not me. I perceived this and immediately knew what was going on. And so I leaned into what I want instead of what I don't want. Instead of complaining about my bike getting stolen, I focused on the idea of getting a new bike and new accessories. And this gift card of $2,685 is going to be more than adequate for me to do that. Can you see how this unfolded? It was the perfect unfolding where I'm getting everything I'm wanting, including a new bicycle, which I wasn't really expecting to get, but now I'm going to get it. It's been a wonderful week, you guys. This manifestation, this unfolding, the way the managers have responded, the way the owners have responded, it's all been cooperative components supporting my expansion. You can have this too. I've provided instruction in this video. I've also provided a tangible experience demonstrating the instruction I gave. If you want more, feel free to reach out. I have space on my calendar for new clients. Until then, I'll see you in the next video.